recording in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hello and welcome to EHCTV. I'm Khalil King.
And I'm Will Seidel. Welcome back to the show. Khalil, were you at that Trump rally last night?
I didn't make it to it, but I did hear that our very own Nick Barr is
Nick
gonna make it out
Barr,
to Johnson
cameraman
City.
right there.
So, yeah, did you ever get a chance to go out there?
I would never go to a Trump rally if my life depended on it. Let's just say that. I'm not a Trump guy.
Tell them how you really feel.
Yeah, tell them how you feel, exactly.
Well, who do you have on set today?
Who I have on set is actually Nick Barr, our cameraman. He's going to come talk to us about how successful the rugby team is doing this year. Also, swimming, they have their first meet this weekend, so I want to talk to him about that as well. Who do you got coming on?
I have a duo coming on set today. Jake Price and Pearl Moore of the upcoming theater show.
It's a dynamic duo right there.
Yeah, so
Jake Price is somebody else, I tell you what.
Yeah.
Tell you what.
I'm looking forward to it.
Absolutely.
We will now pass it over to Sam Durr with this week's news.
I'm Cam Durr with this week's news update. The Athletic Training Student Organization will be having their monthly meeting Tuesday, October 2nd from 12:30 to 1:30 in the Emory Depot. All students interested are welcome. Stop by the Volunteer Income Tax Assistance Program information table set up in Van Dyke anytime between 11 and 1 on Wednesday, October 3rd. The VITA helps prepare taxes for low-income students and families, includes free IRS training, volunteer or internship hours, and tax preparation experience. Contact Amanda Gardner for more information. Do you suspect a student could be in an abusive relationship? Do you know how to help? ENH Cares will be leading an interactive workshop in the Inclusion and Dialogue Center on Wednesday, October 3rd from 3:30 to 4:40. This will give you the information necessary to recognize the signs of gender-based violence, the different forms, and how you can help. For more information about ENH Cares, visit their website. The ENH Theater production will have their first showing of The Government Inspector Thursday in the Black Box Theater. The show will start at 7:30 and will count as a Lyceum credit. That concludes this week's news. I'm Cam Durr.
King, and this is your feature interview. Today we are joined by the lead for our upcoming show, Government Inspector. Jake, Pearl, welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you for having us.
Yes, so leading into this, Jake, first I want to ask, you've been involved with theater since the first grade?
Yeah.
Can you tell me about 6 years old? Can you tell me a little bit about your experience?
So I just kind of did it because they made us in first grade. They were like, "You're gonna do it," and I was like, "Oh, this is cool." And then I think I counted, and I think this is my 25th show I've done. So yeah.
In your life?
Yeah. So I've worked with a couple programs since then, and just kind of got to college, and I was like, it makes sense to major in it. So.
Awesome. And Pearl, I don't know the genesis of your career, but I do.
I kind of started out in high school doing this thing called forensics. It's sort of like debate, but also you did a bunch of like theater stuff in it. Like you would take a book and you would kind of make it into a monologue, if that makes any sense, and you would like be judged on that. And I did a couple plays in high school, but my high school wasn't really into the arts so much, so it was really hard, but I knew where my passion kind of was because it kind of felt easy to do, so yeah.
Do you think that distorted kind of your skill, given that the odds were almost against you, not having a big school that was a fan of the arts?
It didn't really. When I came in and I first auditioned here, I was very nervous. I remember that I brought in index cards for my monologue to be on, so that way if I forgot, I could be like this. But now I don't do that. Now I know, like, I guess the proper etiquette of like how to go into an audition, and like I'm still trying to feel confident about my talent, because I think as an actor you always kind of struggle with like sometimes being humble, because I think that has to be a big part of it, because you're gonna hear a lot of no's in your life before you hear a yes. So that's just how I am, I think.
Awesome. Now, did your experience with your internship this summer working with kids within theater department, did that help sharpen your craft a little bit?
I think it made me understand how to go about coaching people.
Okay.
Like coaching people through monologues and everything. Interlochen was very arts heavy. Like there was dancers, there was band kids, there were everything, theater kids too, and they always enjoyed like talking to me about like things. If I had a theater kid, they would come up and ask like, hey, can you look at my monologue and tell me what you think? And most of the time with kids that age, you have to give them confidence and like say you're doing great, because a lot of times if you bring them down, they're just gonna think that what they did is not good, and that's not okay. So it did help me in teaching, I guess, more so than anything.
Well, awesome. You two, tell me about this government inspector, this big play that you guys have coming up. You guys have big roles in this, so how do you guys feel, and why actually did you guys choose this play?
Yeah. We're actually husband and wife in the show, so
Interesting.
if anything, we're like Trump and Melania.
Nice.
But like,
oh, the corruption of Russia at the time.
Yeah.
That comparison there?
yeah.
Yeah, the whole show opens, and I run in with a letter, and I'm like, y'all got to get your stuff together because we're about to get like put in prison, basically.
It's
But
Siberia.
back in that time, they threw you in Siberia
Yeah.
if you got in trouble. So
Yeah. So that's the T.
Nice. Can you guys go a little bit more in detail? How are they corrupt exactly? What does this look like for Russia
You're
at the time?
like a swindler, a con
Yeah.
man of sorts. You take bribes.
I'm just
Okay.
a very cocky person. We decided that I'm basically playing a peacock. Is what we
Yeah,
decided.
yeah.
Nice.
Very
And,
pompous. I mean, me myself
Spread your
too.
feathers.
Oh my goodness.
So basically the premise is that it's a corrupt Russian town, and we get a letter that a government inspector's coming, hence the title of the play, and we think we found him, but it's very obvious it's not him. But we all believe that it's him, and he goes along with it. And it's actually one of my good friends who's playing that, so it's kind of
Yeah.
tied in with that. It's really fun to kind of go along with that. And then things just get turned on their head, and she falls in love with the inspector.
Yeah,
and then
Oh.
I'm
I'm irritated
it's
about
not
that.
a good relationship by no means.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure my character would have an affair if she could.
She definitely does.
Oh, she definitely does, for sure.
So.
Yeah.
Just it's a farce.
it's crazy all the stuff that happens, and like you should come and see it because of all the crazy. We are Muppets, literally
Yeah.
Okay.
on stage all the time.
Well, I enjoy
Yeah.
all of the plays that I've been to thus far. Is there any particular things that got you guys way out of your comfort zone with these roles?
I know for me, it was learning how to be vocally like because in theater you can't wear your voice out, because if you wear your voice out, then you're not
use it.
able to use it. Exactly. So it was like finding that balance of like, if I'm going to yell, I'm going to yell from a place that's strong. But that was my real struggle, is like breathing and everything.
I've never really had a lead this big before, or a lead in general. So learning all of the lines, because all of my lines are basically monologues. So that was like a real struggle with me for a while.
Okay. One final question before we leave. Do you see there being some kind of foretelling or comparison to the USA with this play? Or was there any kind of ties to why you guys decided to do this in such a time?
Yeah.
I mean, we're kind of corrupt right now, and
Like, it's not even just like a Trump thing.
it's like yeah.
every government has some corruption. And like, I think putting a spotlight on that is going to help. Not just our production, like putting a spotlight on it, but more people seeing this show and seeing how corruption can affect things, I think is a big reason why it was chosen for this season.
Yeah.
Great. Well, thank you guys for joining me today.
Thank you.
I've enjoyed you, and I'm looking forward to enjoying the show.
Awesome.
And thank you all for watching. I will now pass it over to Luke Montalbano with the sports update.
Hello, I'm Luke Montalbano bringing you this week's sports update. Starting on the football field, the Emory and Henry football team traveled to Hampton-Sydney to take on the Tigers, where they fell short 56-27. Sophomore quarterback Hunter Taylor threw for 212 yards on 12 of 25 passing, while throwing for 1 touchdown and 2 interceptions. Taylor also led the Wasps in rushing with 26 yards and 1 touchdown. Senior Jesse Santiago led the Wasps in receiving with 5 catches for 125 yards. The Wasps' home opener will be this Saturday as they will host Thomas More on October the 6th. Moving on to the soccer field, the men's team also traveled to Hampton-Sydney as they lost 3-1. Senior Colin Foley scored the only his first goal of the season. Their next game will take place on Wednesday as they will host Washington and Lee University. The women's team hosted Virginia Wesleyan University as they fell short to the Marlins 5-1. Freshman Eva Hart scored the only goal of the game for the Wasps. Their next game will take place on the road tonight at Bob Jones University. Now onto the volleyball court. The women's volleyball team dropped a pair of matches this weekend as they lost to both Randolph-Macon and Virginia Wesleyan 3-1. Their next match will be on the road this Wednesday at Washington and Lee. Finishing up on the tennis court, the men's and women's tennis teams both picked up their first win of the season against Maryville College. The men's team won 9-0 and the women's team won 7-2. Their next match will not take place until the spring as they will travel to Virginia Wesleyan on March 2nd. That will do it for this week's Sports Update. I'm Luke Montalbano. Now I'll throw it over to Will Seidel for this week's Sports interview. Have a great day, Emery and Henry.
Welcome, world. I'm Will Seidel, and joined with me today is Nick Barr, here to talk a little bit about the success of the rugby team and the upcoming swimming match coming up this weekend. Nick, thank you for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
So, Nick, you got involved with rugby here on Emory Henry campus, but did you ever hear about the sport? Because you went to Chilhowie High School.
Yeah.
Rugby was not even a thing or not even talked about there. So how did you get involved with rugby?
Well, I originally came to Emory to play football and stuff like that, and then that didn't really pan out, so I didn't enjoy it as much. And so I heard about rugby, and I didn't really know what it was. I just knew it was British American football, so it was very confusing. I didn't really know what it was, and I was like, oh, I'm going to try something new, and then I fell in love with it. And then it's been a trip to watch since I've started seeing the team grow and just expand and see how Emory and Henry has supported us since.
So, playing football, you played football, I believe, your junior and senior year, or your senior year of high school, just your senior year of high school?
No, all 4 years.
You played all 4 years of high
Yes.
school? Okay.
Yeah.
But now, when you went into rugby, is there a lot of similarities in the game? Just no pads, but what's the difference between football and rugby? Because I've heard it's kind of more like football and soccer.
Yeah, it's probably, people just assume that it's more like football because you're tackling and you have the balls are similar, but it's probably closer with rules and stuff like that with soccer and stuff like that. So but a lot of football football background helps a lot with it because I was a defensive end, and so my position now with rugby is a wing forward, and I'm pretty much doing something very similar to that. So I'm I'm more of a defensive player, so I make tackles and I'm support people that are running and stuff like that. So yeah.
Interesting. So you just now, have you come to love rugby? You watch it on TV? You kind of, your favorite sport, I guess you could say, is it kind of like that now?
Well, I wouldn't say it's my favorite sport. It's my favorite contact sport because it's just interesting, and it's always unlike football stops a lot and there's a lot of breaks. And rugby is just constant unless someone scores or it gets ran out of bounds.
I bet you get wore out really quickly doing that.
I do. It does get tiring.
Goodness grief. So, on to the next sport. You're a swimmer here at Emory Henry.
Yes, I am.
So, and your first match is this weekend?
Yes, our first swim meet is this weekend against Ferrum on Friday at 6 p.m.
So, what got you involved with swimming here? Because you said you originally came here to play football?
Yes.
So, how does swimming come involved with your collegiate career here?
Well, in high school, I swam for 1 year, and then last year, my sophomore year, they started the men's swim team, and the swim coach reached out to me, and he knew that I was interested in swimming, so that's where I got involved with it. Yeah.
So, is it a lot different than high school, practice-wise or dedication-wise, being a swimmer?
Yeah, it's a lot harder. It's a lot more commitment because the season's in winter, but it started like 2 weeks ago. We've already started practicing, so the commitment with practice and how hard the sport is on you, and yeah.
And I imagine going to your first practice, seeing college swimmers rather than high school swimmers, you're thinking wow, these guys are the real deal. No wonder they're college athletes. Did it intimidate you at all? Especially just the first practice, seeing the girls team, because we have a really good swim team here, women-wise.
Yeah, it was kind of a weird feeling, but everyone on the team's really nice and get along really well, so I felt welcomed and stuff like that. And then last year we only had 3 boys on the team, and now we have 9.
It just started, didn't it?
Yeah.
It just started, yeah.
Yeah, and there's already a couple recruits that have already committed, and it's going to be here next year. So the swim team's growing.
So y'all have some first years here for men's team, incoming freshmen?
Yeah,
Missing?
we do.
Have you seen any of them swim, or any of them impress you at all? If you've seen
Yeah,
them?
they're all pretty good, like swimmers and stuff like that. So they're all pretty impressive.
Absolutely. So, Nick, I just need to know, being a two-sport athlete, rugby and swimming, you're also involved a lot on campus. How do you just manage your time doing that stuff? Because swimming's got to take up a lot of time, especially traveling and stuff like that. And then rugby, you guys, obviously, y'all are having a great season and stuff like that, but it takes up a lot of time too with traveling and stuff like that. So how do you just manage your time? I don't understand how you do it.
Mainly Google Calendars. I just put everything, everything I'm gonna do throughout the day, I'm putting in there. So that like helps me like time management because I know what I'm doing for the whole week and stuff like that. Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, Nick, that's all I got for you today. Obviously, good luck on the rest of your way, swimming and obviously playing rugby. And I look forward to catching up with you on the season and see how you're doing.
Thank you.
And we will now pass it over to Cam Mungai with this week's rant.
Hi, my name is Sam Mungai, and I'm here today with today's, not a rant, but food for thought. As we all know, the Kavanaugh case has shaken up the whole country. And the Kavanaugh and Blasey Ford's case has shaken up the whole country. And as I was watching the case and really reflecting on our society, both locally and internationally, one thought came to my mind. And that thought is, we all need to respect one another. Yes, respect. Respect for oneself, respect for your neighbors, respect for your friends, family members, classmates, professors, respect for even your animals. Respect. Because when you look at the Kavanaugh and Blasey Ford's case, you look at what each side is saying, one word just comes at the end to make up all of this, and that's respect. Don't do things that will jeopardize, your name, that will jeopardize your status in the society. And just respect. You see what I mean? So wherever you are, wherever it be in the TV station with me right here, right now, turn to your neighbor and tell them, hey, I respect you. And hey, I love you, because love is the strongest thing that binds people from all cultures, because love is so amazing that, it goes beyond cultures, it goes beyond race. Love and respect. So, wherever you are today, wherever you be watching me, back at home, or even hearing me right now, just know, 1, respect your neighbors and your friends, and 2, love one another, because those 2 are the most important key aspects that will take you far. It's sad to see in our society that those 2 things have, happen to have gone out of our morals, but hey, it doesn't mean we can't go back. So choose today to go back to love and respect your neighbors, because you never know, those are maybe the same people hiring you, or maybe your next door neighbor in the future. Who knows? Only God. My name is Sam Mungai, and that was today's Food for Thought.
Well,
Khalil?
I really respect you, man.
Yeah.
That was a lovely rant from Sam Mungai.
That was, and I respect you, Khalil. And I thought that interview you did with the 2 of them was outstanding. Also want to
Thank
say
you,
I
brother.
love
It was
you.
good.
I love you, man. Absolutely love you.
See? Thank you, brother. I mean, I also thought it was a great interview with Nick Barr, one of my teammates. Again, I'm biased.
And fraternity brother.
And fraternity brother. So.
And Trump supporter. I'm kidding. We're just kidding. We're just
well,
kidding.
let's not start assuming now.
Just kidding. Just kidding.
But I thought today was pretty amazing, and I really enjoyed getting to talk to those two leading in that new
play's
play.
gonna be good. The play's gonna be really good. Jake Price has worked really hard. He's my fraternity brother.
Oh, nice.
Birthday to Kai, so he's been stressed a lot about it, but he's gonna knock it out of the park. I really think he will.
Amazing. Well, better see you there.
I will be there. Opening night.
All right, this will conclude this week's show. Make sure to join us next week. I'm Khalil King.
And I'm Will Seidel. Have a great one, guys. We'll see you next week.
Stingers up.